In 1873, Congress quietly established something I call a secret trust for the American people. And for more than a century, this fund has quietly grown, untouched, into a $150 trillion fortune. That's enough to pay off our entire national debt 4 times over. If you divided it by the number of households in the U.S., it would be enough to turn every American family into a millionaire. Now, this trust should have enriched generations of Americans. That was its intended purpose. Instead, for more than a century, it's remained sealed off from the public. But that's all about to change. Thanks to President Trump. You see, for the first time in more than 40 years, the president has the authority to release this secret trust. It's all thanks to a 2024 Supreme Court ruling. That ruling had paved the way for President Trump to unleash this $150 trillion wealth reserve, and he has clearly stated his intentions to do so. Look, if you understand what's coming next, and you take the proper steps today, you could watch your net worth soar in the coming years.
Jim Rickards just leaked the unthinkable. And if you guys don't know who this man is, well, he's an American lawyer, investment banker, media commentator, and author of Matters of Finance and Precious Metals. And his background involves holding senior positions at businesses like Citibank and working on Wall Street for over 35 years. On top of that, he's advised the U.S. Department of Defense, the U.S. intelligence community, and major hedge funds on global financial issues. He's authored 6 major books like The Death of Money, The Big Drop, The New Case for Gold, Aftermath, The New Depression. And let's just say they're not the most positive titles, but in this critical interview, he shared some insider information through a private conversation that involves the crypto market. So in today's video, we have to talk about what that has to do with Trump's plan, what Senator John Kennedy said when asked about XRP in front of hundreds of people, the truth about this $150 trillion trust, and what this all has to do with BRICS, Russia, and why the world will soon understand that nothing can stop what is coming. So we have to cover this official document from the Bank of Russia. We've translated the most important part for you to pay attention to. And are the BRICS nations secretly using XRP and not telling anyone? And if you guys watched my video yesterday talking about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, he had a very important interview. And what he said is shocking that directly relates to Ripple and XRP. Plus, when you stick all the way to the end of this video, we're going to be talking about the altcoin market, where we are right now at this phase in the market cycle, and why I'm personally more bullish than ever before for what's about to happen. So as always, buckle your seatbelts because we're backing up the truck all the way to the bank. Grab the bags, packing them, stacking them, leaving no bags left behind. So if you're feeling bullish, comment 777. If you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it. Do you love crypto, but are you worried about taxes shrinking your retirement nest egg? Here's the deal. Trading and selling crypto can trigger capital gains taxes, eating into your wealth. A crypto IRA fixes that. Per IRS publication 590B, traditional IRA gains like those from crypto aren't taxed until distributed. That's why we've partnered with iTrust Capital, a leading crypto IRA company in the USA, to sponsor today's video. And they offer institutional grade custody for retail clients that want to set up their crypto IRAs for retirement, leveraging top storage solutions like Fidelity, Wells Fargo, and Coinbase Prime to keep your assets secure. To get started, simply click the link in the description of this video, sign up for free, and fund your account with cash. They also offer 401k rollovers or crypto transfers, and you can trade 24/7 with just 1% transaction fees and no maintenance costs. As always, I'm not a CPA or financial advisor, so consult one for tax advice, and we do earn a commission if you sign up using our link below to fund your crypto IRA account, but that helps support value-based videos like this, and iTrust Capital already has over 200,000 crypto IRA accounts and over $14 billion in transactions, proving they're trusted by smart investors just like you. So click the link below, get started now by funding your account today, and let's create generational wealth together.
My dinner companion that night was a senior advisor to BlackRock. As you may know, BlackRock is now the largest asset manager on the planet. It directly manages $5 trillion in assets, and it oversees another $11 trillion through its Aladdin platform. That means one firm controls more money than the GDPs of China, Russia, and Japan combined. Anyway, my dinner companion happens to work directly for BlackRock's CEO. As we nursed our white wine and the evening wore on, she let something slip. If I remember her words, she said something like, "They want to tell us we can't sell." What was she talking about? Who was she talking about? I placed a few calls, first to my contacts in Washington, then to a few people on Wall Street. Soon I was on a plane for a series of meetings to London, to Geneva, back to New York, then down to South America. As I began connecting the dots, a pattern emerged. It revealed a network of more than 189 individuals positioned inside the world's major financial institutions. Some of them hold senior positions inside the IMF, World Bank, and every central bank in the G20, including our own Federal Reserve. These elites share one vision, and they're about to make it a reality. That vision is one world order, one world taxation, and one world money.
So what are your guys' thoughts on that? Because clearly there's puppet masters behind the scenes pulling the strings, and the retail, average everyday people see it after it's too late. So the reason why you subscribe to this channel is to get the edge on the general public by uncovering information that could present you with financial opportunities so you could be able to make more money. And these types of documents that we find and that I'm going to share with you in this video are mind-blowing. Look at this one. The Department of Defense released this document in September of 2024 to implement Executive Orders 12333 and 13388, which was originally signed by President Reagan in 1981, establishing the framework for U.S. national intelligence activities, providing authority for foreign intelligence collection and counterintelligence efforts, both domestically and abroad. And the purpose of this is for foreign intelligence collection and also privacy protections to protect American civil liberties and privacy rights. And Executive Order 13388 further strengthens sharing of terrorism information to protect Americans. And roughly all around the same time, Trump was considered deploying the National Guard in New York and Chicago. And a lot of people are saying this has nothing to do with crime out there. This has everything to do with physically securing the financial exchanges and settlement system. Because it's very clear that during the Biden administration, foreign intelligence had infiltrated the United States to push agendas that only God knows would be detrimental to American citizens. And that's what Trump has been fighting, because there's no reason they should have let in that many illegals and even letting other countries just take advantage of America for so long with these terrible trade deals. So when Trump started to announce things like tariffs, and even going so far as to say that it could replace federal income tax, listen to this.
You've also mentioned before they could possibly replace federal income tax.
Possible.
Do you think that's
Someday it's possible. It used to be. So if you go back to 1913 is when they ended tariffs. We were the richest ever from 1850. It was all tariffs. We didn't have income taxes. From 1850 to 1913. In the 1887s, about 1887, they had the Great National Tariff Act. And it was a group of people that got together because our country was so rich, they didn't know what to do with the money. We had so much money, they didn't know what to do. It was a group of very prominent people that were set up to hand out money to everybody because we were the richest we ever were. Proportionately, we were in 1887, around that time, even in 1913. We ended them in 1913. How did that work out? And then we went to the income tax system, and then we had the Depression. And by the way, a lot of people try and say that, tariffs with the Depression. No, they ended in 1913. And then we went to income tax, and then in 1929 you had the Depression. They did try and bring it back in 1931-32, but the Depression had long started, and this poor, beautiful nation was gone. It was gone. We suffered for 25 years. It took 25, 30 years to really recover from the Depression. The tariffs are vital to the success of this country.
And so could what Jim Rickards said here be true about Trump's plan to unlock a $150 trillion fund hidden for over 160 years that would lead us to this global reset or this Nasara-Gassara conspiracy that has been going on for years? Well, I thought this was a great post here that could be the detonation of the biggest red pill in modern history, which would be the Chevron wall falling and the gate to real wealth opening. So since 1984, the Chevron doctrine gave unelected swamp rats total control over federal law interpretation. That meant America's true wealth like copper, lithium, uranium, rare earth, oil, gold, silver, you name it, was locked away by design. The deep state gate-kept $150 trillion in real value while Americans were fed inflation, debt, an unbacked fiat currency that was taken off the gold standard, credit cards, and lies. But everything just changed recently because the Supreme Court overturned the Chevron doctrine. And for those of you that don't know what that is, imagine the US government like a big team that makes rules to keep things fair, like how banks charge fees when you swipe a debit card at a store. Well, the Chevron doctrine was an old rule from 1984 until 2024 that said if a law about these fees is a bit fuzzy and it's not super clear, judges should trust the experts at the Federal Reserve to explain it in a smart way. So the courts essentially just said, okay, Federal Reserve, you got this. And you guys know that Donald Trump does not like Jerome Powell at the Fed. He's told Jerome Powell several times to lower interest rates. And he thinks they're slowing down big ideas like tax cuts, tariffs. So Trump picked 3 Supreme Court judges who helped vote 6-3 in 2024 to throw out Chevron in a case called Loper-Bright. And now without the Chevron doctrine, it's easier to fight the Fed's rules like the debt-free one, which could let Trump tweak things his way, allowing Trump to now hold the legal key to America's hidden treasury. So this isn't about politics here. We're not a political channel. This is an economic war. So Trump didn't come back just to campaign here. He came to launch a resource-backed financial system, one that erases national debt, restores sovereignty, and ends globalist blackmail. And so could it be true that $150 trillion is buried in assets are now being legally unlocked to rebuild America's infrastructure, eliminate foreign energy dependence, terminate the Fed and fiat tyranny, and power a real value monetary system backed by Earth's precious metals and commodities itself, and even cryptocurrencies? So this is what Nasara Gassara, the Great Reset, has been all about. And while normies and everyday people scroll on Instagram or TikTok, doom scrolling and rot in their brain, major institutions like BlackRock have been moving into tokenized assets, and XRP is preparing for global liquidity as elite families have been repositioning their wealth into real assets. So the truth behind the curtain is a lot stranger than you think, and Trump is preparing to ignite the largest economic power shift in human history. This is Trump's final move here. And everything is at stake because the US national debt is at $37 trillion. So if there really is $150 trillion out there, this would completely wipe out the US national debt and pretty much reset the whole system. Now, how he's going to be able to pull that off is a very important question, but I want you to listen to this because this was sent to me by one of our subscribers here on YouTube to my Instagram page, and I thought this was a great question asked to John Kennedy here.
Federal Reserve, they have a cross-border payment efficiency problem. When we send money overseas, it's inefficient, it's slow, it's expensive. In the near future, do you see XRP, which was built over 10 years ago to solve this, or any ISO 20022 cryptocurrency for that matter, replacing our outdated system SWIFT to finally power the Fed's payment rails on a public, transparent, decentralized ledger for America to see?
I'm going to put you on the fence. Well, first, the SWIFT system, we need the SWIFT system, and it's based on the U.S. dollar, terribly important. If I were king for a day, I'm not on the spiral. I'd throw Russia's banks out of the SWIFT system tomorrow. Federal Reserve, I think you're going to see over the next 5 years a very close examination of the Federal Reserve by the United States Congress and by the current administration.
And so in 4 days, Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve is going to come out and give a speech, and there's a 96% expectation for a rate cut and only 3% chance of him keeping rates steady. So this has caused a major bounce in the crypto market over the past week, with a lot of projects up 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, even upwards of 1,000%. And so with this big announcement from the Fed, there's also going to be a big announcement coming from the BRICS nations. So listen to what Jim Rickards said right here.
Their big announcement, people have been waiting for the new BRICS currency, but they did something equally important. They created a BRICS payment system, clearance and settlement of securities transactions, and a digital ledger of, what one country owes to the other, et cetera. So it's a payment, balance of payment recording system, again, all using blockchain technology, which has been around a long time. The importance of that is now they're completely outside the dollar system. It doesn't mean they'll never do another dollar transaction, but recall they've been Russia, at least, and some of the other countries have been kicked out of the dollar system. So if you kick somebody out of the club, they're going to start their own club, and that's exactly what they've done. Now, this is mostly trade-oriented. I don't want to suggest it's the end of the dollar, but it's kind of the beginning of the end. Sterling in 1913 was the global reserve currency, and by 1944, it was a footnote. Well, that took 30 years. These things play out over time. But this could move very, very quickly. But one really important element. So let's say Russia ships energy to China, and China pays them in Chinese yuan. And then China ships manufactured goods to Brazil, and Brazil pays them in their local currency. And you're keeping all this on a ledger. The central banks in each country can pay the sellers and the buyers, but the countries then have a ledger where they owe each other a certain amount. Well, you have two problems there. One is you might have too much of the currency, that more than you can really spend. If you have a big yuan balance, but you don't need that much from China, what are you going to do with the excess? The other thing is you have exchange risk. If Russia has a big yuan balance from China and the Chinese yuan devalues, Russia could lose money on that. So how do you solve that? The answer, which is 5,000 years old, is gold.
And Trump made that post a while ago saying, "He who controls the gold makes the rules." And also shared this, saying the world will soon understand nothing can stop what is coming, with the Q plus on his hand, which is the account that was making all the posts in those forums for QAnon, basically predicting the future. Now, in this same video right here, I broke down these secret cryptid posts from Mr. Poole, basically showing cooperation. And I also played this clip from Dan Pena saying that Putin is behind Bitcoin, which is pretty crazy to say because we found this document from the Bank of Russia. And when you search the word Ripple, it comes up 6 different times here in this document. And even right here, it shows XRP at the center of this explanation here, going between the euro, the yen, the dollar, the Mexican peso, as a central bridge currency, which is the exact problem that Jim Rickards was just explaining that these countries would have, having to hold on to their currencies in Nostro and Vostro accounts. Well, here's the translation of part of this document. It says blockchain and other distributed ledger technologies have become the foundation of many peer-to-peer payment systems and cryptocurrencies. These technologies were developed back in 2008 and 2009 and proposed abandoning the system of financial intermediaries in settlements, it's like Nostro Vostro accounts, in favor of direct transitions and global blockchain networks. And despite initial optimism, attempts to apply blockchain-based solutions in the payment sector in the past did not gain widespread adoption, including due to the complexity of ensuring the confidentiality of payment information in a distributed ledger and the lack of sufficiently comprehensive mechanisms for resolving disputes in problematic situations. Of course, because of regulation, there wasn't clear regulation back in 2008, 9, and 10. So at the same time, the number of distributed ledger technology properties, such as distributed processing, the ability to conduct operations between any network participant, and ensuring data integrity, determine its potential for improving payment efficiency, especially for cross-border transactions. Thus, as early as 2013, Ripple began developing a cross-border transfer mechanism based on distributed ledger technology ideas. The transferred amount was converted into XRP, which were instantly transferred to the Ripple network participant in the recipient's country via Ripple's internal DLT network. The tokens were then converted into the recipient's currency, and the funds were transferred to the recipient using the local payment infrastructure. And for the system to operate and work, agreements were needed with banks in different countries regarding connecting to the Ripple network and conducting conversion operations between XRP and their local currencies. And as of 2023, more than 100 banks and dozens of payment companies have joined this network, with transfers with conversions available for over 120 currency pairs. And based on similar solutions, a whole series of projects was implemented both for mass retail transfers, for example, remittances by labor migrants, and for fast conducting interbank cross-border payments. And this architecture was used for their services by other money transfer systems like MoneyGram, as well as Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and a number of other global banks. And then this text right here, right above this diagram, says the scheme of the cross-border money transfer mechanism in the Ripple system. So could Russia and even all of the BRIC nations be secretly using XRP and not telling anyone right now? Because that document was from a little while ago. But what does Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa know about XRP that most people do not? Well, in 2019, the BRICS Business Council formed a working group to study a special trade facilitating cryptocurrency, and the report explicitly cited the XRP ledger in 2020 and the escrow system for funds. And I covered that in a video like 2 days ago. And the BRICS document openly states that a new digital currency could reshape financial systems, reset the global banking market, and change the value of capital markets worldwide. So this is the exact narrative that Ripple's been pushing for years. And the testing of the XRP ledger has already been happening over the years. The South African Reserve Bank ran sandbox pilots with Mercury FX, testing cross-border remittances using XRP. We also have Zago doing testing as well across the UK. And these aren't theories or conspiracies here. These are actually official pilots completed under regulation, used for effecting cross-border transfers between South Africa, the United Kingdom, vice versa. And these were completed during the bear market, guys. Why would they be testing these in April of 2022? When XRP was crashing from 75 cents all the way down to 30 cents, why would they be testing this technology if this project was selling off from $2? I mean, it was down by the time April hit, about 60%. So it's clear they knew something the average person did not, because the average person only focuses on price action on the chart, or if XRP is down in price by 50%, they call it a scam and junk, whereas the wealthiest institutions behind the scenes are diving in to execute contracts. So this report right here from a little while ago states that funds needed to execute contracts can be pre-stored in a linked virtual escrow account. Meanwhile, Russia's finance minister revealed in 2022 that BRICS signed an agreement to launch a common payment platform by 2025. And 2025 isn't just a random year here, because it lines up with Ripple's global ISO 20022 adoption timeline. And who has already integrated BRICS Pay? Well, that's none other than Standard Chartered Bank, which has been a longtime Ripple partner. For example, Standard Chartered made an early strategic investment in Ripple back in 2016 as a part of their funding round to support its growth in cross-border payments. And in September 2024, they completed a new strategic investment in Ripple aimed at accelerating the bank's digitization efforts of distributed ledger technology, including granting Standard Chartered an observer seat on Ripple's board of directors, allowing it to influence future collaborations and developments in blockchain-based financial solutions. And so if they hold a seat on the board of directors at Ripple and they're integrating BRICS Pay into their digital payment platform to enable customers to make payments to other BRICS countries, and they've been using RippleNet since at least 2017, for example, unlocking a $15 billion trade route by streamlining transactions for corporate supply chains and bypassing slower systems like SWIFT between Singapore and India, along with the bank integrating XRP for on-demand liquidity in these transactions, allowing instant settlement in seconds with lower costs, particularly for corridors in Asia and the Middle East. And in 2019, Ripple-powered instant payment services went live between Standard Chartered in Singapore and partners like Access Bank and Rock Bank in the United Arab Emirates, enabling frictionless corporate and retail remittances. And as of 2025, Standard Chartered continues to test and expand Ripple's infrastructure for real-time cross-border payments, addressing limitations in legacy systems like SWIFT. And recent pilots, as of July of 2025, just a few months ago, are focusing on using XRP for instantaneous and transparent international transfers, with involvement from regulators like Singapore's IMDA. I mean, this just gets crazier and crazier and crazier, guys. India and the United Arab Emirates had settled oil transactions in local currencies, but using the XRP ledger. And what a coincidence, the very same XRP ledger is being used to tokenize billions of dollars in UAE real estate. So we got oil plus property plus payments, which is the foundation of the new financial system. And in an official BRICS document, it admits they don't need to create a new coin. They need a low-cost, advanced blockchain that's already built. And that blockchain has to handle escrow, smart contracts, ISO 20022 messaging. So the XRP ledger checks every single box here. So if we talk geopolitics here, everyone thinks it's the US versus the BRICS, or the dollar versus the yuan, or the West versus the East. But if both sides adopt the same neutral bridge, XRP, then the conflict is purely theater and it's all a show. Because it's not about who wins, it's about what system underpins both. Think about it. If you're going to get gas for your car and you're debating between going to Chevron or going to Shell or going to 7-Eleven, you might choose based on convenience, what's close by, but you're also going to choose based on price per gallon to fill up your truck that's going to be a gas guzzler, basically. So all of these gas stations are competing against each other to have the lower prices for gas and then also have the best, snacks and treats on the inside if you're about to go on a road trip. But the real business that makes money regardless is the one that provides the gasoline. So if just one member on the BRICS nations, we already know that India, we already know that South Africa, tons of other countries in the Middle East are already partnered up with Ripple. Well, if all of them make an announcement, wouldn't it be coincidental if it happens around November when ISO 20022 goes live? So the global reset is already scripted here. Ripple and XRP is going to be at the center of it all. And it's no coincidence why XRP absolutely exploded from 50 cents in November of 2024 to over $3 just a month later. This is not some retail pump, guys. This was the financial elite knowing what Donald Trump was about to do the moment that he got elected. Now here's where the story gets really crazy. Arthur Brito wrote this back here in November of 2013 saying, I think a lot of people get hung up on XRP. For the most part, I expect the majority of people who use the Ripple payment network to be able to ignore XRP. And the most important part of this email was saying XRP will just be the hidden plumbing. And if you listen to what Charlie Kirk said here in my video that I played yesterday, for those of you that missed it, listen to this.
Are you pro crypto? I've never seen you talk about crypto. Yeah,
very pro crypto.
You got some Bitcoin?
I actually have better stuff than that. I am a significant investor in the plumbing of how crypto is made.
Really?
So I won't say any more than that, but done some good private equity deals in the actual back end on the technology of actually blockchain on how all these coins go public. Now, not Bitcoin itself, but of all the other types of coins. And so if you are long on crypto, I encourage people to understand that there is a needed multi-billion-dollar infrastructure that needs to be there to actually for all these coins to be able to go through process, to be made public, to go through ICOs. But yes, I'm very pro crypto, and I got some coins.
So if Arthur Brito in 2013 is referring to XRP as the hidden plumbing of the financial system,
a significant investor in the plumbing of how crypto is made.
Could it be possible that Charlie Kirk owns some XRP, or was he referring to some other currency? Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. But nonetheless, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish on XRP, it's very clear about what's to happen for the entire cryptocurrency industry. So before we dive into the rest of this video and talk about what's coming for altcoins in general, we just opened the doors to our free Discord group through the link in the description below this video. If you're watching this on X, above this video, we have close to 1,000 members in this group right now. So when you guys join it and get access to the HQ, you're going to get access to exclusive trading signals and alerts when they come up, special promotions, also a free trading course. Whether you're a beginner just learning the ropes or an expert looking to refine your edge, our trading group is for you. If you want market updates, trading insights and setups, open discussions and strategies, and to sign up and get started, all you need to do is scroll down below this video, click more right here on YouTube. You're going to see our email, and then you're going to see the link to the Discord right here. Just click it, it'll open up, and then just accept the invitation. It's free to join, and you'll be able to connect, network, and grow with other members inside of our community. Now, let's dive into what's happening here, because history is simply repeating itself. Everyone wants to know, when is Altseason going to happen? So if we look at this chart right here, I thought this was a good comparison for others' market cap dominance in 2017 versus 2025. And right now we are experiencing a golden cross on others compared to Bitcoin's price chart. The last time, guys, that this took place in 2021, we saw an absolute explosion in altcoins during that rally. And right now we're at a very pivotal point here that is similar to not only 2021, but all the way back here to 2017. And if we just look at these two charts right here, going back from July of 2016, when we sold off from about 5% in terms of dominance of the whole industry, down here to about 1.5%, we made a slow recovery on out. But once we finally broke out at the beginning of March, we absolutely exploded to the upside and made new highs. You look at the bottom of the screen, altcoin dominance has dropped from 12% all the way down here to like 6.9%. We're just slowly starting to break out. So if you look at these lows right here, back in November of 2024, there was support. It acted as resistance ever since the middle of February, multiple points of contact down here at the bottom until the end of March, even the middle of May. And if you look at the top of the screen, it's very similar to how there was this support right here from the middle of July of 2016, multiple points of contact, and then even acting as resistance right here in August of 2016, in October of 2016, that the dominance stayed below. So we see once it dropped below this key resistance level, it acted as support now, back here from September of 2016, until we broke below it, and then it acted as resistance, where you can see multiple points of contact until March of 2017. We broke above it, we come back into this zone right here, get rejected from it, and then we consolidate in between support and resistance until an inevitable explosion to the upside. Massive liquidity rotated into altcoins. So at the bottom of the screen, what do we see? Well, we see this level right here acting as a key support with multiple points of contact. And once we broke below it, it flipped it and acted as resistance. And right now we are pretty much at this exact same level. So could we experience what we went through right here during that 2017 breakout? And we're literally just weeks away from a major move in the market, even for a little more consolidation leading into October or November. Could we see the last 1 to 3 months of the bull run market be an absolute explosion like clockwork for what we've seen happen every single bull run in the past, well, I would not be surprised the slightest, because I was here for that 2017 bull run, for the 2021 bull run, and now for the 2025 bull run. And if you look at Bitcoin's dominance here, by March 1st of 2017, when the crypto total market cap, excluding the top 10, the others chart exploded to the upside from about $400 million, it happened at the exact same time that Bitcoin's dominance dropped from 90+% all the way down here to 80%. We saw a 10% drop in Bitcoin's dominance, and we saw the altcoin market outside the top 10 go from all the way down here at about 300 to 400 million, upwards of $1.5 billion. And it didn't stop there. Look at how high the altcoin market went after that. Went up to $80 billion. That was a massive explosion to the upside, and it was all on the backs of Bitcoin's dominance dropping all the way down here to 36%. So where are we at now? Well, as you can see on the top of the screen, Bitcoin's dominance is sitting right here at about 57%, and the crypto total market cap, excluding the top 10, is just sitting right here at a key resistance that was support during this A wave right here, before the breakdown to the low right here of about $184 billion. Now, clearly there's a lot more money, so it just takes more liquidity to move these markets, but if what Jim Rickards says is true, and there's really $150 trillion to be unlocked, we're only at $327 billion for altcoins right now. Just to go to $1 trillion from where we're at right now is a 200% increase. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen. Obviously, this is not financial advice. Crypto's definitely risky. If none of this happens and the economy breaks, we might not go into a bull market. So just be prepared for that. But if the stars align here and we see Bitcoin's dominance do what it did the last few bull runs and experience a massive breakdown, then we can see an absolute explosion in the altcoin market, because right now we're sitting right here at a key level that we've been rejected from multiple times, and we're just building up pressure right now, forming higher lows in this ascending triangle. And once we see that breakout happen, it can happen very, very quickly in the blink of an eye, and you just see billions and billions of dollars flow into the industry, and you wonder where was that money sitting all along when you had to go through these boring long consolidation periods where nothing seemed to happen. And look at XRP's price chart and how long we had to go through this boring consolidation and sell-off period back in 2017 until XRP absolutely exploded to the upside with the rest of the altcoin industry. By the 1st of March of 2017, altcoins started to break out outside the top 10. So did XRP. It went from 0.05, and you know the story from there, upwards of 7 cents, a little pullback, upwards of 38 cents, 200-day consolidation, and then a blow-off top, upwards of $3. And now we're just sitting right at these levels right here at $3.09 below where we were at the peak in 2018. So if we just look at these two charts side by side, XRP to the US dollar at the top and the crypto total market cap excluding the top 10 at the bottom, when we see the altcoin market experience this massive explosion to the upside, I think that's when XRP finally makes the move to $5 or higher. Because we've been consolidating since July, even going all the way back to January of this year, and XRP has done virtually nothing since this high. I mean, it's just stayed just shy of $4 here. So I think the next major move for XRP is going to be massive, and it's going to be rapid, and it's going to be an aggressive move like this, potentially even like the move that happened from November to December. I think another move is coming like this by the end of this year, and we don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but I think it'll take place somewhat close to the ETF news or the ISO 222 implementation. And so what can we do? Well, I'm not telling you to buy anything, but the smartest investors in the world are buying altcoins right now. They're not waiting for this explosion to take place. They're not buying the top. They're accumulating before the third alt season takes place and we see a massive explosion to the upside. And if you just screenshot this chart right here, I know there's a lot going on, but if we see that breakout take place, it could potentially push the entire altcoin market cap up to about $6 to $8 trillion by the top of this bull run. So that's nearly a 3x from where we're at right now. And if you want to see which altcoins our research team is the most bullish on, then you definitely want to plug into Altcoin Pro University through the link below, because our team has been calling the top projects before they explode, making a lot of our members an insane amount of money. For example, our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1, 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University through the link below. And although we make no guarantees because crypto is definitely risky, guys, this is only $97 a month or $970 a year. If you want to save $194, getting 2 months for free and unlock some exclusive bonuses, just go through the link in the description below. Get in right now. Watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers to help you become the first millionaire in your family tree, if that's a goal of yours. And you can get started through the link in the description below right now, or you can go to bullrunners.com to take advantage of the bonuses we're giving you before they expire. Everyone is loving the community. They're loving the education. They're getting access to real-time altcoin picks first before we ever make videos about them. So click the link in the description below, watch the video, and I'll see you on the inside.